regulators are generally saying, is there some sort of financial instrument here? Is there something that we should control? Is there something where we should protect people from things going wrong? You know, there's kind of, if you like, there should be a law against it kind of thing you get in the Daily Mail, and then somebody says, well, actually, well, yes, they're right, there should be a law against it. And obviously, a lot of problems do occur in that regard in respect of financial instruments, because they are a type of thing which is very, very easy to steal, and also people put large amounts of money into them. So, you know, it happens much more than it does in relation to plain commodities. So you have an area where regulators look very, very closely at situations where large amounts of value are tied up in things or are dealt with by people. So if you now, then you turn your attention to something like a Bitcoin exchange. Well, what's happening with a Bitcoin exchange is, in a sense, it's sometimes holding other people's money. It is obvious, as we've obviously seen, there is a risk of hackers getting in and potentially interfering with their ownership of other people's bitcoins. There is also the risk that the people who are running the exchange themselves, this has not happened, but there's also a risk that people running the exchange may themselves be fraudulent, and it's surely only a question of time if you don't do something about it before somebody sets up a Bitcoin exchange which is entirely fraudulently based and actually specialises in taking other people's Bitcoin value away from them rather than simply this happening to them accidentally. So what does that then, if you take a conventional regulatory approach to this, you would say, okay, well, here's an area where people are losing a lot of money, where they're complaining about losing a lot of money, and it relates to financial instruments. You would start to say, well, okay, that's an area where the regulator's going to look at it. And they're going to say, should we start regulating people who are trading in Bitcoin, because that's where the risk area comes? Is that entirely a bad thing for the Bitcoin industry? I'm not sure it is. Having said that, putting it in Carl's context, if you like, of the truly disruptive technology which is throwing it all up into the air, the idea of suddenly saying, all right, okay, if you're going to be a dealer in Bitcoin, you've got to be regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, and here's 294 pages of what you've got to do, and it literally is that, then I can see that is actually destroying the whole concept underlying this idea of something which is truly disruptive.